everyone, welcome back to English with Simi. In today's lesson, we're continuing our topic on conditionals, and this is part 2. In part 1, I explained the zero and first conditional, how to use them and how they work. If you haven't watched that video yet, you can watch it before or after this lesson. I'll leave the link in the description below. In this lesson, we're focusing on conditionals learners find confusing, which are second conditional, third conditional, and mixed conditionals. I'll explain how to form them, when to use them, and common mistakes you need to look out for. And I'll give you lots of examples to practice with. And very important, there is a free PDF practice guide for this lesson. You can download it using the link in the description. Before we move on, let's do a quick recap on the zero and first conditional. Zero conditional is for things that are always true. And the first conditional is used for real and possible future situations. Now, let's move on to imagination and regret. Before we look at the grammar forms, let's look at the ideas behind conditionals. Always ask yourself, is this situation real or unreal? Is it about now, the future, or the past? If you can answer those questions, the grammar becomes easier. Let's start with the second conditional. We use the second conditional to talk about imaginary and unreal situation. Things that are not happening now and won't happen. For example, if I won the lottery, I'd travel. I'd is the contraction of I would, so please take note of that. If I had more time, I'd study English every day. These situations are not real. We're imagining them. Now, let's write the structure and let's understand what the grammar focus is about. When making conditional sentences, there are usually two clauses. The if clause, which is the situation, and the main clause, which is the result of the situation. When making if clause sentence, we use if plus the past simple. Next, it's followed by the main clause. For the main clause, we use would, could, or might. Even though we use past form, we're not talking about past action here. The past form shows that the situation is unreal. And remember, we don't only use would, right? We can use could or might. When you use would in your second conditional main clause, it's all about the result. When you use could, it's about your ability or possibility. And when you use might in your main clause, it's about maybe. If I had more money, I'd buy a house. If I had more money, I could buy a house. If I had more money, I might buy a house. We can also make these sentences in negative form. If I had more free time, I wouldn't work on weekends. If she knew about the meeting, she wouldn't be late. Now, let's look at common mistakes that can be made when using the second conditional. If I was you. This sentence right here is wrong. The correct if clause should be if I were you, because this is imaginary. So we say, if I were you. Another common mistake is, if I will have time, I'd call you. The correct sentence is, if I had time, I'd call you. Now let's move on to the third conditional. We use the third conditional to talk about things that didn't happen in the past and things that can't be changed. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed the exam. If we had left earlier, we wouldn't have missed the train, but we did. This is about a past action that didn't happen, but at the same time, you're thinking about changing the result. Now, let's have a look at the third conditional structure. As I've said earlier, all the conditionals have two sentences, but the grammar changes. Now for the third conditional. For the if clause, which is the situation, we use if plus had plus past participle, which is your third form of the verb. And for the main clause, which is the result of the situation, we use it with could have plus the third form of the verb, would have with the third form of the verb, or might have with the third form of the verb. Keep in mind, we could also use it in negative sentence as well. For example, if I hadn't eaten so much, I wouldn't have felt sick. If I had left earlier, I would have caught the train. If she had called me, I might have answered. Now I want you to complete this in the comments. If she had left earlier, we would have. Let me know your answers in the comments. Now, let's look at 2 common mistakes to avoid when using the third conditional. If I would have known. Never use would in the if clause. This right here is wrong. Another mistake is this right here. If I had went. Remember, in the if clause, for the third conditional, we use had plus the third form of the verb, not the second form, right? Not the past tense. We use it with the past participle. So in this case, if I had gone. Guys, we're making a lot of progress, and I hope you're still with me. Now we're moving on to the mixed conditional. The mixed conditional is used to talk about something that happened in the past. However, the result affects the present. So in this case, the time is mixed. Let's look at the structure for mixed conditional. And usually the most common structure looks like this. For the if clause, which is the situation, we use if I had plus the third form of the verb. Then the main clause sentence, we use would have plus the base form of the verb. Remember, base form of the verb, not the past form or not the past participle. We use the base form of the verb because we're mixing 2 different time together, the past and the present. That's why in the main clause we use the base form of the verb, which is the first form of the verb. Now let's look at some examples. If I'd studied medicine, I'll be a doctor now, but I'm not a doctor. If she had taken the job, she would leave abroad now, but she didn't take the job and she's not leaving abroad. If we had saved more money, we wouldn't be stressed now. Did they save money? Let me know in the comments. But what's the result? They're stressed now. Remember, this is a past action, but the result of that past action is happening now. Now let's look at common mistakes you need to watch out for. The first one, which is the obvious one, which is mixing up the time incorrectly. If the result is about now, do not use would have in the result. Now we have a clear idea on the second, third, and mixed conditionals. Let's have a quick recap. Second conditional is used for imaginary or unreal situations. Third conditional is used for past regrets. And the mixed conditional is used for past action but present result. Always think about time and reality. To help you practice everything we've covered today, I've prepared a free PDF guide with examples, explanation, and exercises. You can download it using the link in the description below. If you haven't watched part 1 where I explained the zero and the first conditional, make sure you check it out as well. It will really help you see the full picture. If this video really helped you, do not forget to like and subscribe for clear English lessons like this. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.